How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about CEI Camber Energy. It ended up pulling back big time inside of the market when a short report came out. We will be talking about it inside of this video, but I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over, yes, is the reply from the short report, right? Camber came out and said, hey, we need to set the record straight here, and we're going to be talking about that. And then secondly, we're going to be doing a technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. This is key so you can have the right strategy going in and you're not FOMOing in this play, all right? Many people who FOMOed into this play, or many people who are not protecting their profits, are left holding the bag and waiting for the stock to pick back up again. And again, I don't want you guys going through that. You don't need to be riding the elevator, so having a strategy is key. And then afterwards, we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. We want to know, are shorts still heavily vested in this play? We're going to find out. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know, were institutions selling like crazy? Were they buying up shares? Let's see what was happening on the retail side. We're going to figure that all out. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more key details. So let's get to it. So let's go over Camber's response to this short report. So Camber comments on short report. So Camber Energy has been made aware of the short report issued today by Carisdale Capital regarding such report. James Doris, President and Chief Executive Officer of Camber, commented, "We are not involved in, nor do we comment on the day-to-day trading of the company's common stock. I can say, however, that our business relationships are legitimate and that we are firmly committed to improving the organization's capitalization and executing on our growth strategy. With respect to the company's public filings, our objective is for the company to become current on or before the expiry of the initial cure period as established by the New York Stock Exchange, which is on or about November the 19th, 2021. Additional details regarding the timeline for the company to file certain reports were launched in Camber's current report on Form 8K filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission on May 24, 2021, which is available under Investors." So taking into considerations Camber's comment on this short report, it was great that, they came out with a speedy response. It was very professional as well. I know many people were saying, well, why not try to actually comment on all the points that were made? But you have to understand there are some legal issues here, and the reason why I don't like shorts, they can put out all of these allegations, and when the companies do respond, they got to make sure that they're not saying certain things that could really impact the stock and get it moving in a certain direction, or they can get in trouble for it. So taking this into consideration, I feel that as far as them actually responding quickly is what really matters here. I, for myself, and you guys know this already, I do not hold any long-term positions. I only trade off of this play, and I already told you guys the reasons why I actually do this. So this is part of the reasons why, if you are inside of this play and you were holding it for quite some time while it was running up, you have to know the risks that are involved. So now let's jump into the technical analysis. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Camber Energy. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $1.53, being down 50.49%. On the low, it tested $1.03, and then on the high, testing $3.22. So we could see we had a sharp sell-off today due to the short report that came out. And when we take a look at the volume on the day, you could see we traded at 814.22 million shares, and then the average volume over 10 trading days being at 456.253 million shares. So taking this into consideration, a lot of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at a chart, which is a 1-year daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 46.63. And then when we take a look at the moving averages on the chart here, you can see, hey, we have some strength. We bounced right off of the 200-day. We are below the 50-day, and we're also above the 100-day, but keep in mind we are below the 21-day EMA. 1A. So closing at $1.53, you can see this has been an area of support for Camber. So going into tomorrow, then of course, if this area does decide to ever end up breaking, then the next level to look out for will be here around 145, and then the next level will be right here around 135, and going even further, you'd want to see it hold up around 130. All right, this is the bearish case scenario here. Now, as far as if you're going to look for something that is bullish here, of course, since we close at 153, you're going to want to see some strength to see if it can test getting to around $1.65. If it can get to this particular area and there's a lot of buying coming into the play, then you can look forward to a move going to the 170s, and then we'd want to see where it actually go from there. So if you are going to be trading in this play, very key that you have a strategy. So since we did test $1.03, this is right near the 200-day where it's set at $1.01, and it was able to bounce off of this very quickly. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. So as far as the price action is concerned, I'm going to be keeping this on the radar for tomorrow because it can go either way, and it's part of the reasons why you don't enter unless you have the right setup in place. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for Camber Energy. Let's take a look at the stats. So the dark pool short volume ratio is at 56.79%, and for the dark pool short volume being at just over 67 million. As we scroll down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 150,000, updated 21 minutes ago, and the short ball fee rate is at 9.10%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of October the 1st, it was 45.95, and then for the close for October the 4th being at 56.79, which was yesterday. So in regards to the short interest, it is definitely high for CEI, and it's part of the reasons why it does have short squeeze potential. We did end up getting some news today that caused a big time pullback inside of this stock and has potentially changed the market sentiment. But of course, this is why I always say you want to make sure you have a game plan. So it'll be very interesting to see what it does going into tomorrow. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for CEI. So we can see here on the inflow is 255, and then on the outflow it was 250, and this is in the millions. When we take a look at the breakdown, we had 72.75 on the large. We also have 132 on the medium, and then on the small we have 50.67. When we take a look at the large side, you could see 73.84. On the medium we have 126, and then on the small we have 50.50. So when we see this breakdown, there was a lot more inflows that was coming in on the retail side. You know what? Not that big of a difference actually, just a minor difference. But one thing to keep in mind, we have to factor in, was this in the early part of the morning or was it in the afternoon? And it's taking into consideration when that news dropped. So what I'm going to assume here, there was a lot more selling that was happening right after that short report ended up dropping, and that's what made up the bulk of the selling pressure that we saw. And then if you take a look at what happened on the medium though, there was a lot more purchasing. Now that's very interesting to see. And when we take a look at the large, it actually looks fairly even. The only difference between them is 72.75 versus 73.84. But again, timing we have to take into consideration here. And when we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for October the 5th, it being that outflow of 1,091.09. So taking these numbers into account, one thing we can clearly see, there was a lot of selling when the stock pulled back big time. We also do know many people were also buying up that dip as well by the way that it was able to recover. It went down to as low as like $1.03 and then bounced back up to close at $1.53. So only buying pressure can cause that type of a movement. So with all of the profit taking and as well as the panic selling combined with all of the shorting, you're going to have this type of price action that we ended up seeing today. And this is why having a game plan is essential. And I always say, if you're going to be inside of this play, you want to be attentive and not overstay your welcome. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for CEI, this is part of the reasons why I always tell you guys never to overstay your welcome when it comes to these penny stock plays, and also making sure that you're using the right risk management. I talked about in the previous video, as far as the strategy is concerned, you want to see this stock hold up the $3 level. And if there's a day trade opportunity with the right setup, of course you could play off of that fluctuation. It did make a move to $3.22. And if you are day trading this play, that is good profit right there. I know many of you were saying, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to be holding regardless. I see some more upside inside of this play. And if that is a particular case, then right now you are holding the bag. And this is part of the reasons why I want to say you have to take responsibility of that, especially since this play has been running up for quite a bit. And I always talk about protecting your profits. But again, a lot of people don't like when I say that because they're saying, hey, you're just trying to collect pennies. Hey, that's what I do. I go off of momentum. And if people don't like it, then again, that is unfortunate because you got to work and do what's right for you, what makes you feel good at the end of the day, right? Now, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, yes, this play does continue to have short squeeze potential. Again, we did have a short report that did come out, so we know the short interest is already there. And due to the fact there was a lot of fear that was created today, this is part of the reason why the shorts are probably sitting down right now, just laughing at retail investors. Let's be real. When they released that report, you already know they had their position in play already. So even when you factor that in, can you imagine? So they had their positions probably built out, probably around like $3, somewhere in that $3 range, and then released that report, and then this stock plummeted all the way to $1.03. So as far as profits for them is concerned, I'm pretty sure it's looking really good. And now we could see as far as where it closed at around $1.53, and now it's pulling back further into the after hours. I did go ahead and buy some shares because I'm like, you know what, let me see if I could take advantage of this overreaction. And of course, we don't know if that's going to be a guarantee that it's going to recover, but I was like, you know what, it wasn't that much money. Let me just throw a little something at it. So we'll see what happens going into tomorrow and as well as for the rest of the week. But one thing that I really think was pretty cool, that Camber was able to respond to this fairly quickly. They didn't wait a day or two and so forth like we've seen in the past, but hey, they just came out and said, no, we're going to clear this up. Here's our point of view. So that is something that is really good to see as well, and I feel like it's worth actually taking notice of. So I hope for many of you who are inside of this play, when you are watching my videos, you are fully paying attention. I want to really emphasize that because I saw the messages coming in and many people were saying like, Dre, oh my gosh, I just lost so much. And I'm like, wait a second, you were riding this play for a very long time. Why weren't you protecting your profits? Why were you letting greed get in the way of your decision making? The moment greed gets into your decision making, you're going to have a hard time inside the stock market. You might get some wins here and there, but you will be losing for the most part. And this is part of the reasons why I always say protect your profits. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.